guys, it's Michelle from the Choice of Motherhood. By request, this video is going to be basically why I want to be a single mom by choice and why now. So most people, when they hear that I am 26 and I want to be a single mom by choice, the first two things are, am I a lesbian? No. And am I asexual? No. As far as I know, I'm not. I've never had a boyfriend, like nothing serious. I've had like dates, but nothing like leading to anything. I'm very career driven and very like, I have my goals and I will reach them. And for me, having a husband, having a partner has never been part of that. It's just always been like, I get my job, I get my finances in order, I have a child, like that's my goals. I know a lot of women dream of like getting married and having this nice wedding, and when they picture themselves with kids, they always picture them with someone else. Anytime I've imagined myself with kids, it's always been me by myself. I've never been able to imagine it with someone else, because I just don't feel like that's what's right for me. I've always loved kids. I wanted to be a teacher since I was in kindergarten. I really had really amazing kindergarten teacher, and then in grade 1 and 2 I then would go and help her out with her class as often as possible, and I just knew I wanted to be a teacher. When I was 13, I started babysitting for a family that had a 2-month-old, a 1-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So I was babysitting them off and on for probably about 6 months, and then I started babysitting for a family who had 1.5-year-old twins, and also a 10-year-old. The mother was an alcoholic. The father wasn't in the picture other than off and on. Maybe TMI, but I'm pretty sure she was a prostitute. But anyway, so I started like full-time nanny in the summer, so I would get there at 7 in the morning or earlier, and then she would come home because she worked at a bar and then drank at the bar, and so she would come home at maybe like 4 in the morning, and then I would go home, sleep for a couple hours, and return. I obviously watched the kids, but I also cooked, I cleaned, did laundry, would go out grocery shopping. So I would go out and take them get new clothes. When school started, because remember I'm in high school still, I started doing it, so I was off school at 2. I would get there by 3, and I would stay there until about 3 in the morning, then go home and sleep for a couple hours, and then have to go to school in the morning. Let's just say probably not the best idea for a teenager, and my grades probably reflected that. Yeah, that was my life for at least a year. I thought a lot about adoption. I used to like fantasize about what if she decided to give up the twins, would I adopt them and stuff like that. So in my mind, of course, I'm going yes, but realistically, teenager, no income other than nannying. They were fraternal twins, and they would be like total opposites of each other. One was really like girlier and very emotional and cuddly, and the other one was like the tough boy. They were both boys. The girlier one, probably maybe around 2, started calling me mom or mommy, and the tougher one would be like, no, not mom, that's Michelle, that's Michelle. When they were 3 or almost 3, the other one started calling me mom, and so without that second one to correct the first one, they were both calling me mom, and I was doing the correcting. I quit nannying, but I was still babysitting for her off and on. And then the original family with the 2-month-old, who was no longer 2 months at this time, obviously, but they had another child. When I quit nannying, I started babysitting for them as well as babysitting still for the twins. I didn't even know the woman was pregnant, and then she was like, oh yeah, I'm being induced tomorrow, can you babysit? Okay. When she was about 2 weeks old, I started babysitting a lot for them, replacing the twins with this the 2-week-old who obviously was growing up. And then I ended up cutting ties with the twins, like with the mom and with that family. I started babysitting a lot for this other family. And so the family had 4 kids now, and the mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she really wasn't a mom because she wanted to be a mom. She wanted to be a mom so she could play dress up. I don't know why she was having kids. The husband was alcoholic and drug user, which I didn't find out until like years later. But anyway, the oldest child wasn't the same dad, so he would go to his real dad's house, and then the second boy would go to his uncle's house. The third one was a girl, and she would go to her aunt's house, and then I would take the youngest. So there would be times like weekends or like March break, spring break, I would have her for the whole week or the whole weekend. In summer, I often had her for like, I would have her for a week and then not have her for a week and then take her for another week. I started taking her when she was about 6 months old. So I was 15 taking care of an infant. I was used to caring for this infant and then toddler off and on. And that was for free. I took her for free because I was so used to caring for a child 24/7 that I needed that. So my grades actually improved after quitting with the twins. But I still was able to get that like baby time, toddler time. And my friends were just so used to it because they were used to like me nannying, and then they were used to having her around. Like we went to the movies, shopping, like everything, and that's how they were used to. So I wasn't like the teenager to drink or anything. Like I don't drink now. I've never been drunk. The most alcohol I've had is about this much. So kind of maybe a different teenage years than some. My friends were just used to me having a child around. 3 years where I had her off and on as part of my life, and that's just how we were. Like, I don't know why my parents didn't question why they were letting me keep a toddler around and whatnot, but that's just how it was. Somewhere in that time with the twins and with this little girl, I was like wanting to adopt. I was like, I want to adopt some child that needs a home. That would be mine. Didn't know at the time like anything about adoption and how difficult it was, but that was just my thing. I want to adopt. I didn't really think about relationships, so I never really connected that I would be a single mom by choice. I just wanted to adopt, and that would be my family, me and a child. It wasn't until I was about 18 when I heard about single moms by choice and learned that there was an actual term to it. I just assumed that it was a common thing. And then I had also learned about IUIs and artificial insemination and all that. So more on to kind of like why I want to be a single mom by choice. Mostly because I like things my way. I am a planner. I am independent. This is how I do things. I think because I haven't had a relationship that maybe I'm just not used to it, but I don't like to make compromises. I just, like, this is the way I do things and this is how I want it to be, so I don't want to have to make choices with someone else. Like, I don't want to have to be like, oh, okay, we can kind of compromise on that name. I want to just be like, this is my choice, this is how I am. Religion is a huge part of my life, and I'm Buddhist, and it's very hard to find someone who is also Buddhist. That is something I'm not willing to compromise on. And I know people always say, well, just wait, you'll find someone, or someone will come along and they'll change everything. But I think what people don't realize is that I don't want to change. I am perfectly happy the way I am. I am perfectly happy being single. I don't care. Like, there's no like, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. There isn't that. I love it. I love being single. Also, I hate drama. I am a very positive person. There's always relationship issues, and I just don't want to deal with that. I love not having any drama. I love not having to worry about if my partner's cheating on me or if they're happy or whatever. Like, I just want to do my own thing and not have to worry about it. I love that I don't have to come home and cook for a husband. If I have a child and I want to have cereal for supper, I can have cereal for supper. There's no expectation. Also, I find like 99% of the families, the woman is still the housekeeper. They're the cook, clean, laundry person. Even though we now live in a society where women are working outside of the home, I have no issue with cooking, cleaning, and everything like that, but just when there's another person, I feel like I would want them to participate, and I don't feel like I would get that from someone else. I don't mean to sound so negative about relationships and marriage and whatnot, but it's just, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to put in the effort for it. Who knows, maybe I will meet someone and want to put in that effort, but I haven't yet. Online dating I've tried off and on because my friend met her boyfriend online, but I don't know, I just feel like it's so much work and I just don't care enough. And the guys I've started talking with, it's like, okay, well, when are you moving to a city? And it's like, never. I'm happy where I live, or if I live somewhere else, I'll be just as isolated as here. So now to the whole having a kid now. Through my experiences, I've learned that I really don't need to have a partner to raise a child. The only negative feedback I have ever gotten in my entire life about becoming a single mom by choice has been from single moms by circumstance. What I mean by that is women who have been widowed, divorced, husbands walked out, partners left, got pregnant by accident. Just the way I'm choosing it to them looks like, why would you want to put yourself in that situation? It's so hard. Why would you want to do that? And to me, it's not putting myself in something difficult. To me, it's the opposite. I'm taking away all that trying to work on a relationship, worrying about stuff, and it's different if you're happily married and then you're getting a divorce. You are used to a certain standard of living, and now you have to cut that because you no longer have two incomes. You're also going through the emotional issues of having the divorce, and now you also have custody issues where you're now sharing that child. And I think finances are a huge part of this, because when you're used to having two incomes, dropping down to one income is hard. And for me, I have a good income and I have a budget that would work with a child. One child. Two children would be difficult, but I could make it work, but that's why I want only one. The other thing with it is help. You're used to having that help. I've never had help with a child. Never. Like, I don't feel like I need that second pair of hands. And also, I'm so used to being at home and being by myself that a lot of women are like, well, when you're a single mom, you don't get to socialize. I don't do that now. So that's not like a huge deal for me. Is it going to be easy? No. When is parenting easy? Whether you're single or married, partnered, whatever, when is being a parent an easy job? Never. But for me personally, having me be single makes it easier for me than being with a partner, because I can just make decisions. I don't have to speak to someone, wait for their decision, compromise. I can just make the decision then and there, the end. There's no, oh, well, mommy said this, daddy said that. It's just mommy says this, the end. There's no good parent, bad parent, preferred parent. It just doesn't exist. For me personally, in my life, I feel like having just one child without a partner is so much easier. In terms of timing, why now? So, my original plan was to have a child by 25. But that was making sure I had a good career, that I had a house, and whatnot. 24, I moved up here, and then I knew I wasn't going to live here forever. I knew I couldn't have a child here. I didn't think I could raise a child on my income, and I wasn't in a permanent location. I still had this idea that I needed a house, and I needed to be making 6 figures and living in this magical land. So then last March, I started talking to my friend who is a surrogate. By this point, I had known about that I had endo, and all last year, like my first year, so 24 to 25, I had been doing research on endo and like knowing what stage I was at and whatnot, because I only got diagnosed when I was 24. I was diagnosed, so from 24 and a little bit of 25, I had been doing research about getting pregnant and endo and whatnot. And so I had been talking to my friend who's a surrogate and an egg donor, and I was like, I knew surrogacy was expensive, but then I came across traditional surrogacy, which is when your surrogate is also the egg donor, and I had just messaged her saying, hey, do you know anyone who does this, because legally it's a little iffy, but I'm just wondering if, because all the sites I came to said, we don't do it, we don't only do gestational surrogacy. So she messaged me back saying, no, I don't know anyone, but I will do it. And so we started talking about that. Then March, I joined the Single Moms by Choice forum. I had originally found out about it I was 18. But I didn't join because I didn't have money to pay to join it, and 2, I wasn't ready to be anywhere near having a kid. So I decided to join it just to see what it was like, and I realized that they were real people. They weren't these magical rich women who had a mansion and awesome careers and all this and that. They were real women, probably higher income than most single moms by circumstance, or by chance. It kind of helped me put in perspective, like, okay, I can do this on my own, and I can do it without having a huge house, and I can do it without having to be in a permanent location. Moving is not going to kill my child. Like, just seeing that's not what life is about. My friend who's surrogate, she said, well, when are you ready? And I said, well, give me till fall of 2014. I need to get finances in order and whatnot. So that was the plan, and then, I don't know, something like switched, and I was like, no, I don't want to wait that long. It's better for me to start now. So, but meanwhile, she had already lined up another surrogacy and other plans and whatnot. So, I missed the boat on that one. That was completely my fault. But then I went to my specialist in July, and he said to me that now is the time to try, because I don't have scarring or anything yet. I do have cysts in my ovaries, but he said they're small and they shouldn't affect anything. So he said if I want to have a child, now is perfect timing. So that's kind of where the now comes in, where like I'm trying myself now, and I just, this is the time. Looking at, so the Single Moms by Choice forum, a lot of the women are 35 and older, but then looking at, say, diaper swappers is the other forum I go on a lot, and looking at them, it's weird because I think there was a poll or a chat, like a thread about how old would you want to be when you were done having kids or something along the line, and most of them said that they will be done having all their kids by 25 or 30. So I think a lot of the times ages get skewed a bit for Single Moms by Choice, whereas if I was in a relationship, I was married, no one would question why I want to be a mom. It's just that they that's the natural part of being human, is that around this age you start having kids. So like 25, 26 is not really that young to be having a child. I think just where it comes in is the fact that I'm choosing to have it by myself. I am not opposed to having a relationship, getting married, having children with a husband, but I don't want to put my life on hold. I don't want to be an older mother. I want to be a mom while I'm still young. I want to enjoy life with a child. I've enjoyed life as a single person. I've traveled all over the world. I've had so much experience in my life, and now I'm like ready to share that with a child. I just don't feel like I need to have that partner. And who's to say someone's going to show up? And if they do show up, who's to say they want to have children? Who's to say by that point I'll be able to have children? I think with endo in mind, it's a huge factor, because once I have one child, I want a hysterectomy. So any partner I meet, even now, if I met someone now, they would have to understand that I might not be able to get pregnant by myself, myself. I might not be able to get pregnant myself, so they would have to be open to surrogacy or adoption or something along that lines. And so that really doesn't change, because if I meet someone after I have a child, they will still have to be open to the fact that I might not be able to have kids because I will probably have a hysterectomy by then. And they will have to be open to adoption. And in that case, if they're open to adoption, why wouldn't they be open to having my first child be part of their child, like part of the family? So I think that plays a factor in it all, but I just basically don't want to put off my life just waiting for some guy that might never show up. If he shows up, fine, but that's not like one of my things on my bucket list. My top 10 for the next 20 years does not involve needing to get married. That's not how I feel. If I never get married, I'm perfectly fine with that. I have no issue with that. You say that about not having a child, though, that is not an option. I will find a way to have a child. That's always been on my top list. The whole relationship thing, whatever. Not a necessity to make me happy, but having a child, yes, definitely. So I hope that helps with clarifying maybe some stuff. If you have any specific questions that I can maybe answer better than I did, just let me know in the comments below. I'm very open about everything. So nothing's really like too personal, or don't worry that you're gonna offend me or that you're being too nosy. Don't worry about that. I have not run into a single question that someone's asked me that I felt that way. And I get questioned a lot, so I think because it's such an unusual path to take, that people are curious. So go ahead, ask questions. I fully plan on having my child understand their story, and I would much rather be able to share my story to help someone, either someone that knows a single mom by choice, or someone that maybe isn't with a partner and is thinking maybe they should become a single mom by choice, or anything like that, or even if it's just to help my child understand my reasonings for things, and whatnot. So anyway, I swear I'm gonna finish now. So I'm going to stop talking now and upload this for you guys to torture you with a very long video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.